Welcome back everyone. Right now, there is a lot of talk about what the Lakers need to do in order to get back on top. Pretty much everyone has their own opinion on what it will take for them to do that, and in addition to that, there appears to be a lot of confusion on when they can begin making things happen, and in what order those things will happen in. So in an effort to provide a bit of clarity on that, in today's video, we will be previewing what the offseason will look like for the Lakers. And then to add a little extra flair to it, I will be throwing in what I believe to be the ideal order and direction that they should make their moves in. I know how much many of you like my ideal offseason and dream scenario videos, and don't worry, we will be getting to those eventually, but this video will kind of be a preview to all of that. It will be an outline for everything that I will talk about in later videos, and will really help to set the order of the moves that I think they should eventually make. And if you do enjoy these kind of videos and want more of them in the future, be sure to click that subscribe button and to turn on notifications for my channel. But without further ado, let's dive into the video. And the first thing the Lakers need to do before anything else in order to improve their team is to get on the same page with LeBron James. There has been a lot of back and forth between LeBron and their front office through the media. Now we do need to recognize that much of it has been blown out of proportion by the media to get attention, but they are obviously not on the same page right now. But if they hope to put together another good team, they need to be seeing eye to eye. Whether you want to admit it or not, LeBron definitely plays a role in making team-altering moves. I don't think anyone really knows for sure how much control he has, but he clearly is involved in some capacity, and he wants to be involved too. And honestly, that should not really be a problem either. They just need to find a happy medium on how much control to give him, and to come to an agreement on who has the final word. Now, this may not seem like a part of an ideal offseason, but given the situation that is going on right now between them, this needs to be figured out before anything good can eventually happen. But now moving on to the second thing that they need to do though, which happens to involve the team and player options that they have available to them. I think we can all agree that Westbrook will definitely be picking up his $47.1 million player option. I mean, who wouldn't? They don't have any control over that, but what they do have control over are the 3 team options that they have available to them. And those 3 happen to be with standout rookie Austin Reeves, mid-season pickup Stanley Johnson, and their late addition of Wenyen Gabriel. In my opinion, they should pick up the team option on every one of their contracts. Each of them vastly outperformed the expectations that were put on them, and they definitely deserve to be brought back. This one is kind of a no-brainer, and I don't think we need to dive too much deeper into it. So now moving on to the third thing that they need to do. And here we have the hiring of their new head coach. It's a problem that they have not had to worry about for a few years now, but I believe they need to hire a new head coach before making any big changes to their actual roster. I already made a video talking about the top potential coaching candidates available to them, which I will provide a link for if you're interested in watching, but regardless of who they eventually hire, it needs to happen before they sign any free agents or make any big trades. In my mind, the ideal coach for them would be with someone who already has prior experience dealing with a big-time star player like LeBron, one who is connected to their franchise in one way or another, and one who has a good track record. You can make a good argument for a guy like Quinn Snyder, Nick Nurse, Darvin Ham, or even Phil Handy, but again, I feel that whatever coach they end up hiring should be one who meets a majority of the aforementioned criteria. And like I mentioned before, they need to hire that coach before making any big moves. They not only need to be on the same page with LeBron, but they need to be on the same page with their new head coach too. And bringing in a new head coach after making a big move would be completely and utterly foolish. Whatever coach they eventually hire needs to be aware of and a part of the decision making that goes on prior to making a team-altering move. In addition to that, they also need to wait until the playoffs are over before bringing in a new head coach. And depending on how the playoffs eventually end up playing out, that could heavily affect which head coaches become available, with Quinn Snyder being the one most heavily affected. But now moving on to the fourth thing that they need to figure out, and this one may arguably be the biggest. And here we have the choice on what to do with Russell Westbrook. In my opinion, they need to trade him. Even if healthy, I do not see a big three of him, LeBron, and Anthony Davis ever being a championship caliber team. Along with that, they cannot afford to simply waive and stretch him either, unless he would be willing to give back a considerable amount of money in a contract buyout, which is highly doubtful. That would only create more future problems for them. We already have talked about a number of potential trade options for him here on the channel, but in my mind, the ideal trade for them would be to either get significant salary cap relief or to get a good fitting player in return without having to give up major draft compensation. They could get the salary cap relief they are looking for by trading him to the Oklahoma City Thunder. The only problem is, we don't know for sure what kind of draft compensation the Thunder would demand here. On the other hand, they could potentially trade him to a team like the Indiana Pacers for two good-fitting players in return like Malcolm Brogdon and Buddy Hield. The only problem with that option is that it would likely require giving up more draft compensation compared to a trade with the Thunder, and would not give them any salary cap relief either. In my opinion, the ideal trade for them would be to work out a deal with the Thunder. Doing that would allow them to retain Malik Monk, along with freeing up the full mid-level and biannual exception for them to use during free agency. Finally though, the fifth big thing that they need to do is to put better fitting players around LeBron and Anthony Davis during free agency. Like I've been referring to in recent videos, this would involve reverting back to their former defensive identity. It did not work out well for them when they went in a more offensive-minded route, but the good thing is, they already have the blueprint on the right kind of players to put around them. And if they're able to get the salary cap relief that I mentioned before by trading Westbrook to the Thunder, they would be financially capable of building this kind of team. Between having the full mid-level and biannual exception, they could add 2 or even 3 quality 3&D players, and that to me would be the ideal way for them to approach free agency. No more going after offensive-minded players who need the ball in their hands to be at their best. That clearly did not work. And during what could be the final year of LeBron and Anthony Davis, they need to go all in on what worked for them in the past, which again is putting defensive-minded players around LeBron and AD. In conclusion though, an ideal offseason for me would include the front office and LeBron working out their issues, picking up all 3 of the team options that they have available to them, hiring a good fitting head coach, trading Westbrook for either salary cap relief or for a good fitting player that does not require giving up too much draft compensation, and finally, reverting back to their defensive identity. But with all of that being said, what do you guys think? In your opinion, what would be an ideal offseason for the Lakers? Let me know your thoughts by commenting down below and we can talk about it there. That will do it for this video though. Big thank you to those of you who took the time to watch until the end of this video, and until the end of all of my videos in general. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and turn on notifications to get notified right away when I drop a new video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day.